tracking high levels of pollution. River systems like the St. Johns receive much of their waters from creeks and streams that run through every aspect of our lives. These tributaries carry with them runoff contaminants that wreak havoc on life within the river and create potentially serious health issues for the public.
This is Tri-County Ag. Let's get the fits ready.
Environmental scientist Pam Livingston Way joins biologist Tom Morris. They paddle upstream to the source of the pollution.
So Deep Creek is one of the hot spots as far as tributaries that take a lot of nutrients to the St. Johns River. It's draining many, many acres of potato fields and cabbage fields here in the Hastings area.
One of the greatest boons to mankind was the introduction and widespread use of chemical fertilizers. With such fertilizers, farmers can grow more crops and feed millions of people. But for the river, there is a downside. Agriculture and urban runoff, leaky septic systems, and sewage discharges share something in common. They all deliver nutrients and organic substances which act as powerful fertilizers. Much of it ends up in the river, causing algae to grow very quickly. When runoff goes unmanaged, it can trigger algae blooms. Algae blooms block out the sun, causing underwater grasses to die. Without grasses, underwater creatures that use them for food, shelter, and spawning die. Birds and animals that rely on them for food have less to eat. Decomposing algae uses up oxygen in the water. Without enough oxygen in the water, more organisms die off. A growing population speeds up eutrophication by increasing the amount of harmful substances like fertilizers that soak into the ground and reach the river. Pam works with farmers, manufacturers, and state agencies to develop best management practices, or BMPs, to help manage that runoff.
So we've gone from Deep Creek right up into Canal Number 1, and you can see the obvious problems here. I mean, and this is what we're trying to treat with our wetland treatment and our pond.
The idea is to capture runoff and direct it into a series of settling ponds.
So Tom, this is our 19-acre wet retention pond. It has about 37 days of residence time.
After water leaves the retention pond, it enters the wetland marsh, where other contaminants are absorbed by plants and trees. And the runoff returns to the river cleansed.
You know, farmers are in business because they love farming. They care about the land, they care about what they're doing. And I'm of the personal belief that there's a lot of culture in the word agriculture. And I think we need to keep that here in Florida.
Other best management practices have been designed to give farmers economical ways to conserve resources while protecting their investment. New slow-release fertilizers are one of the most promising recent developments.
So what's great about this controlled release technology is it's engineered, these prills are engineered to release as the plant needs it over the season. And so if it's releasing as the plant needs it, that means there's less in the environment that has the potential to leach into the watershed.
This is really an excellent project. We need more of this kind of stuff in our agricultural areas to keep those nutrients on the agricultural fields and out of places like the St. Johns River.
But what few people realize is that much of the contamination does not come from farms. Instead, it is coming from our manicured lawns and businesses. Ponce de Leon searched Florida in pursuit of the fountain of youth, and that quest still attracts explorers today.
So we're finally here in the land of the springs, Tom.
Yeah, my favorite part of the river, these middle reaches.
Springs are usually among the purest. Glen Springs pumps out brackish water. It is an underwater oasis, salty enough to support ocean life in the middle of a freshwater